What part of a movie is real? You see, I just watched a movie, and it was just amazing how when you're watching the movie, I was comparing it to how life here on Earth as a human being, and how we're infinite consciousness, and I've heard this used before, how infinite consciousness is like the light from the projector of the movie theater that flows forth, that light of consciousness. That's our true nature, is that formless light of consciousness, that awakeness, that awareness, that life that animates life, that lights up the screen, the movie screen, with the characters and the film and everything running in it. And you have that screen, the movie screen, everything's on. It's kind of like that permanent screen, right? And we're kind of like that as infinite consciousness, with a permanent part. And then the characters and the film, it like comes and goes, kind of like the manifestation here. Here we're here in the world. Everything's inside of us, right? We're here as infinite consciousness, that light of consciousness that shoots forward and lights up this whole world that's inside of us, right? And we container, like the container, the limitless container though, the limitless container, unlimited, and everything comes and goes in this space of awareness. But we're that space of awareness. But when you're watching the movie, you feel like you're with the character, you feel the emotions of it, the adventure of it, and you're running through it. So you can easily see how you can get caught up in it. It's the same way today with infinite consciousness. Okay, we are having the experience of being a human being here on the earth, and we can get caught up in our character, like the character Rob, right? The action figure Rob, who's going through life, and we identify with being that separate person. We can get caught up in it and feel like we're in it, but really it's just a dream. Okay, we are the infinite consciousness, the permanent one, this big space, this infinite consciousness, this space of consciousness. That is who and what we are, the permanent part that's always been here since you were a child. As you grow up, it's always that permanent part, that permanent space, this infinite space, this awakeness, right? These are all pointers. You have to see it for yourself, experience for yourself, in your own experience, to know what I'm saying. But the movie theater, I thought, was a good experience in watching that movie. How you really get caught up the same way today. We really get caught up in the character of the person that we are. When we come to realize that we shift our identity, no longer with the person and this mind-made self of me and my story, and we shift it to understanding, have a clear understanding that we are the infinite being, the formless consciousness, the infinite consciousness. That is who and what we are, like that projector, that light that lights up the movie screen in the back of the screen, with that permanent screen. Everything's coming and going, but we're also the infinite light that goes forward, that lights it up. And even the characters in there, they're kind of made up of consciousness as well. But we're the infinite part, the permanent part of it. And it's the same way today. Just looking at life here as a human being, the infinite being never incarnates into a human being. It's always the infinite being, the spacious consciousness, whether we're aware of it or not. But when you're conscious of it, that's self-awareness. You're consciously aware that you're the infinite being, and you have a shift. The shift is your shift in perception, your shift in identification. And what happens is the body-mind identification drops away, and you no longer see yourself as a separate person, a separate individual. This body-mind, you understand that's not you. You understand what is you, though, is this infinite space, this awake space, this infinite consciousness, this infinite being. That is your true nature, and you come from that perspective. And from that perspective, you get curious about what infinite beingness is and infinite consciousness is. It's just pure peace, pure bliss, pure happiness. There's an okayness here. Everything's okay because you're identified with the infinite being. It can't get sick, can't die. Nothing that can happen in the manifestation can touch it. It's self-fulfilled, has everything it needs. It's happy. It's always that peace and happiness running in the background. That is your true nature. The infinite being, the spacious consciousness, the timeless one that's always been here, that always will be here. The beautiful you, the infinite being, the infinite space, this open space of consciousness, this permanent space that will always be here, is you.